What's up, guys? It's episode 344. Welcome back to the show.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh- I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take sh- I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Before I get into this episode, I want to direct your attention over to my Patreon. Head over to patreon.com/TJMS to become a member, and that will grant you access to 2 bonus podcasts and 1 vlog a month. Once again, that's patreon.com/TJMS. Go check it out. We just posted our first Patreon episode. I did it with my fiance, Corey, and we talked about things that I don't publicly talk about here on my public podcast. And that's the whole point of me doing a Patreon now. I want to give you a little bit more of an inside look into my life and my personal life. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Go check it out. Patreon.com/TJMS. All right, let's get into the episode. Okay, I don't know whether to lie to you right now or be completely authentic and honest, and like there's a lot going on in my world right now, to be honest, and let me just quickly bring you in and explain to you why I took a nap at 9:30 a.m. Or should I just do pros tell you when they're having an off day? Like, I feel like I watched that Arnold Schwarzenegger documentary, and I feel like, what did he say? He's like, it doesn't matter how you feel, like, do it anyways. Or like, don't do things based on how you feel, like your emotions, just get the job done, right? So it's like, here I am on my podcast recording day, deciding to take a workout class at 6 a.m. I never do classes at 6 a.m. I work out, like, I'm at the gym by then, but then I ease into my workout by like 7. You know, I sauna, I stretch, I get it going. So anyways, I took a workout this morning at 6 a.m. at, you might know about this, the Glute Lab here in San Diego. And as you know, I ripped out my hamstring a month and a half ago, and it was like the first hard workout that I've done, like my lower body workout I've done in a while. So I literally got home from that class feeling like so pumped up. I was like, oh my God, I'm back. I've got, wow. Like, I feel so strong. I have no pain, whatever. I got a coffee with Corey. I literally ate a can of tuna for breakfast. So no carbs, nothing to make me tired. Like, I know that. Like, if I had pancakes or something, that might make me more tired, because I know my body. I know that I don't respond to carbs, and my body doesn't respond. Holy fuck. My body doesn't respond. Hi, thanks for coming to the show. Thanks for being here. Just bear with me. I'll get into these topics. Should I just tell you what they are right now? No. Okay, I'm going to stay on task. Finish this story, then talk about it. Okay. Yeah, if I like starchy, carby stuff in the morning, I get tired. So I literally had coffee and a can of tuna and like some cucumbers. I had like some vegetables. Okay, nothing crazy. And I do a full face of makeup. I set up my studio. Like, here I am ready to do my podcast. I'm so excited about this episode. And I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, I'm falling over. It's 9:30. There's no way I'm going to stay awake right now. Like, it was that bad. So anyways, long story short, I had a fucking nap before this episode. And instead of, there's me being honest and authentic instead of lying to you. Like, fuck. I swear to God, like, I can't figure this out. I just talked to Corey. He called me checking in, how's the podcast going? And I was like, look, I haven't even started yet. I had to take a nap at 9:30. And he goes, oh, that's normal. When I used to work out and when I used to do CrossFit, it took me a while to adjust. And I'm like, no, I'm in shape. Like, I don't have, like, working out doesn't make me tired. I know my body. I'm like, I'm seeing my doctor in a month. I think I'm getting my blood work done. Like, I think there's something going on. This is my, okay, wait a minute. It's always the caffeine. It's always caffeine. I probably should just stop drinking so much goddamn caffeine. That's probably what they're going to tell me. Let's get into the episode. I'm such a broken record, and I like glorify like all these issues I have with myself all the time for you. And I feel like that's not like interesting or entertaining. Like, But what I was trying to say is I had an Alani at like 5:45 before my workout. And then after my workout, I had a large black coffee, took a nap, and now like a couple hours later, I'm having a second Alani. So that's it's probably like 700 milligrams of caffeine and a can of tuna in my body. Holy fuck. Okay. So let's get into the topics of the episode. I'm stoked. I'm so stoked. We're going to cover, should I just roll into each one and then like it's a surprise, or do you want them all at the front of the show? Fuck. Let's start off with something light. So this is the lightest topic of today's episode. Woman in coffin, 76-year-old Bella Yolanda Montoya Castro from Ecuador came back to life in her coffin. Okay, so this is what happened. I don't know if you've heard about this story. When I saw it, I was like, holy shit, that's like a fucking horror movie. I can't imagine being there and hearing the little knocking on the top of the coffin. Like, what's like you think grandma's dead, and it's like, no, she's not. So apparently, this was a few days ago, or was this last week? Whatever. She was admitted to the hospital for like cardiac arrest and a possible stroke. And when she didn't respond to resuscitation, why don't I have my notes already. Okay. Why don't I just read word for word? Admitted Friday to the hospital with a possible stroke and cardiopulmonary arrest. And after she didn't respond to resuscitation protocol, a doctor on duty declared her dead. Okay. So she's declared dead. And this is the part I was trying to figure out, because I'm like, look, she's declared dead and then has a funeral and wakes up in her coffin. So I was trying to figure out, and I finally found it on the internet, or found it in one of the stories I was on. I was trying to figure out, I'm like, how quickly did they throw this woman in a coffin? Because like, if it was a week later and they're having a funeral and she woke up, like that's literally like Jesus Christ rising from the dead. Like that doesn't happen. I don't think that would be more insane. But what I found out is that after she was declared dead at the hospital, the family brought her to a funeral home where they, put her in the coffin and had the wake. Is a wake a funeral? Like, what is that? I feel like that's another, what is a wake? I feel like it's another term for it. What is, what's a difference between a wake, a funeral, and the ceremony of viewing? Wakes began as vigils after death, a way of watching over a loved one after their passing and spending a private moment together before burial. Okay, so this is like when you bring your loved one to the funeral home and they lay them in the coffin and you're like there with them and you're having your first little, moment after their death with them. Okay, so the family took her to the hospital for a stroke and cardiac arrest. She's declared dead. Then they're like, okay, grandma's dead. Takes her to the funeral home. And then apparently 5 hours after she's in that coffin at the wake, they hear a knocking noise and they're like, what the fuck? And they open it up and she's alive.
Whoa.
So that is horrifying. And I was like, again, if this is a week later or something, I'd be more surprised. But like 5 hours after someone's declared dead, that also is crazy. But yeah, I don't know what her current condition is. Let's see here if there's any updates. 76. I mean, okay. Let's read here. There were about 20 of us here, he said. After about 5 hours of the wake, the coffin started making sounds. My mom was wrapped in sheets and hitting the coffin. And when we approached, we could see that she was breathing heavily. Wow. Video recorded immediately after showed a coffin resting on the floor of a small, bare, light blue room furnished with a silver crucifix and a pedestal fan. Inside the open casket was a woman with a gaunt face and gray hair who was moving her mouth up and down as two men supported her head. I don't think I've seen the video of this. I don't really want to be honest. Like, I don't know. I feel like we don't need to see this. It's kind of like a private matter. I mean, whatever. It's fucking crazy. Correction, June 13th. A previous version of this article must spell part of the name. Okay, whatever. The health ministry said it has formed a committee with other government agencies to audit how the premature declaration of death came about. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, how do you declare someone dead when they're not dead? You know, what happened there? Because if she's hooked up to shit, I mean, heart monitors, whatever, and it flatlines for like 5 minutes and it's like, beep, doesn't that mean you're dead? Like, is there more? I mean, is there more to it than that? I don't know. I just feel like if you're dead, you're dead. Like, I don't think you fuck that up when you're looking at someone's like they're dead. No breathing, flat line, not responsive. Could that be like when you're in a coma though, you're still alive? I don't know. Anyways, that's the update on, or that's the first story. This is kind of like a news episode. I don't know. Once again, this might be like a muscle through it news episode, because I just, like, it's a beautiful day. Why am I tired? You know what I mean? The sun's actually out in San Diego now. And I'm hitting a wall. It's like, what the, I can't figure it out. I think I've been talking about this for months. Whatever. Maybe I just need more like morning light on my eyes, but I can't really get that because there's no sun around here in the morning. It's like all clouds. I guess you still get it from the clouds, but who's bored? Are you bored? I'm kind of getting bored of myself. Should I do little life updates between each segment? Here's a quick life update. I'm going to North Carolina next weekend and to Charlotte, and I'll be vlogging the entire time. So that'll be the Patreon vlog for June. So I'm excited about that. Corey does real estate stuff out there, and he's gonna like show me his places, and we're gonna meet all of his friends that he knows there because he used to live there for a while. So it's been really fun to see that. And then our next trip is a quick trip to LA in July, like a 2-night thing, and then 4th of July we're doing something, and then we're going to Maui middle of July. And my birthday's July 7th. So there's like a lot of stuff in the next month or so. I can't believe, like, I was looking at the date. I'm like, it's literally the middle of June. Like, my birthday. It's like, I didn't, usually when it's like June 7th, I'm like, oh, my birthday's in a month. Now it's like less than a month away. But I'm not a birthday person. I've never been. I just like, I feel like maybe when I was little, but like, I don't really care about my birthday. I know that's maybe that's annoying to people. Like, oh, you know, you should celebrate yourself, or like, but like, I think the only time I want attention is on social media. Like, if it's my birthday, just leave me alone. Like, I don't care. Like, it's wild. When I podcast, I feel like this is the most like extroverted, like attention seeking version of myself. And then in real life, I am a little shy, and I feel like I'm more reserved, and I don't like a lot of attention on myself. How does that work? Is that like, who was that like guitar guy, or no, was he like a rock band guy? And he explained that he's like, yeah, being on stage is like when I really like let it all go and I'm fully expressed, but like I'm super introverted, reclusive. Like I stay in my little shell outside of that. And I'm like, I kind of relate to that. Yeah, I wish I wasn't. I feel like I have it in me to be more like extroverted and like obnoxious and more like how I am here in person, but I think it takes me a while to like warm up to people. I don't know why. I'm kind of like, it's, you know why I'm saying this? It's because Corey's introduced me to a lot of people, and he's like, oh, why are you so shy? Like, you're kind of shy. And I'm like, am I? I guess I am. But I feel like I'm really not, like in my head, I feel like I'm not, but when other people tell you what you are, you're like, you kind of should believe them a little bit, because they're observing you from a different perspective than like when you think of yourself, you think one thing, but the way people see you is different, and you should listen to that. I always listen to that. And it doesn't matter what people think of you. Obviously, it's not one of those things. It's just like, it's like when someone's like, this is how you come across. It's kind of Good to take notes of that. So I'm a little shy girl. I'm in my shy girl era, IRL, but my attention whore era on my podcast. I just noticed that, like, when I talk to you guys on here, I'm like, I'm on one, and I'm like out there, and I'm loud, and I'm like, woo, you know. But I don't know, it's because I'm so comfortable, I guess. So okay, we've got Alexi Treviso. Let's talk about Alexi Treviso, because holy fucking shit. This happened back on January 27th this year in New Mexico. I'm not sure if you've heard of this story, but I'm going to tell it to you because that's what we're doing here today. I'm telling stories. I'm telling you about what's going on in the world. Starting with, okay, the woman wakes up in the coffin in Ecuador. Now I'm going to take you over to New Mexico on January 27th. Alexi Treviso, 19-year-old Alexi Treviso, went to the hospital for lower back pain and is now convicted of first-degree murder and tampering with evidence, because when she went to the hospital for lower back pain, she waltzed into the bathroom after she received a positive pregnancy test and delivered a full-term baby by herself in the bathroom and suffocated it in a garbage bag and threw it away and then walked out like nothing happened. So let's get into it. Yeah, that's the gist of the story. She claims she didn't know she was pregnant. And I think when she showed up at the hospital, they suspected that because she was like showing. I'm not sure why they took the pregnancy test, but she was like, no, I didn't have sex. No, because her mom was there. I think the big issue was her mom put the fear of God in her eyes about having sex, you know, and she's 19 and like they probably had some like thing, you know, and she's like, no, I didn't have sex, and then gets a positive pregnancy test, is in denial, says she has to go to the bathroom, and then there's like a surveillance video of her like rushing over to the bathroom and like grabbing her ass as she's doing it. And then after like 20 minutes, the nurses and they're all like checking, like knocking on the door, like, are you good? Like, what's going on? And they said they could hear her using the, what's it called? The paper towel thing over and over and over again. They heard like a lot of flushing. And anyways, when she came out, they noticed like the cleaning ladies noticed there's like blood smeared all over the floor. Like it was clear she was trying to wipe it up. And then initially, this is how they found the baby. So when you look in the trash can, she had put a garbage bag liner over the baby that was underneath the liner at the bottom of the trash can. So when they took it out, they didn't see the baby at first, but then like, oh, this is unusually heavy. Then they checked it, and she had wrapped the full-term baby boy dead. And the autopsy, I guess, recently confirmed that it was asphyxia. What the fuck is that word? When you get suffocated, autopsy, whatever. She had, it died by suffocation because she wrapped it in this, in an extra garbage bag liner that was clearly, you know, how they store them at the bottom of the garbage. So she did that and then covered him. It's horrible. And then, yeah, they found it and they're like, holy shit, brought him into the trauma center. He's pronounced dead. And she goes back into the, you know, hospital bed in her room and is like freaking out. She's like, I didn't know what to do. It was dead when it came out. That's what she claimed. She's like, you know, being all dramatic like that. And they ended up doing like it's like gross. I know too much information. Like a vaginal exam to like check her out. And I guess, yeah, she literally confirmed she like delivered this baby in the bathroom. And what are the latest updates? She's been released on bond. Let me read this here. Following a hearing before Eddy County District Judge David Finger, Alexi Treviso was granted release on a $100,000 unsecured bond. However, certain conditions have been imposed on her during this period. She will be allowed to continue attending school and participate in her graduation ceremony. What the f***? She must adhere to a curfew. You're convicted of first-degree murder and you're like going to graduation. I don't know. That doesn't seem right. She must adhere to a curfew from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., but she's not required to wear an ankle monitor or be placed under house arrest. Let me pull this up. The criminal complaint states the bathroom was found covered in blood and cleaning staff. This is like at 2 a.m. I just can't, like, birthing a baby alone in a bathroom. I feel like when you're young, like she's 19, I don't know, like maybe I don't know if it's any easier, but maybe you're like they said it was full term, so I'm guessing like 8.5 to 9 months. Like, I don't know, it's like 7 pounds, probably somewhere around there. The autopsy did indicate injuries consistent with suffocation following birth, adding to the complexity of this tragic case. Yeah. Wow. So it's crazy because there's like pictures of her, I don't know, like cheerleading, or she's like at school or whatever. It's like obvious she's pregnant. So it's like you would, I feel like and people are saying like her mom knew about this, that her mom was in on this. This was like a planned thing. I don't really, and her mom's like acting like she doesn't know what was going on. Or when they came to her, the police came to her house, they're like, your daughter's under arrest for, she's like, why? It's like, clearly because she killed her baby in the bathroom. You were there, you already knew about this, but she's acting stupid. So because she's acting stupid, it makes people wonder, like, was she trying to like help her daughter out? Or it's like, here's what I don't get. This is my whole take on it. It's like, you have all of the help in the world. You're in a hospital. You have all of the care. You have all of the nurses, all of the doctors around you. You're in a safe place to deliver a healthy baby. And you chose to run into the bathroom and do a DIY birthing project on yourself and suffocate your baby in a garbage bag and act like nothing happened when you walk out. I just don't understand that psychology. It's like, clearly you're a soulless person, you're a demon. Like, you don't, I mean, I understand the fear of not wanting, of the fear of your mom finding out that you had sex and that you were pregnant, like that. But you're convicted of first degree murder now. It's like, I feel like, is there just no like how do you not have, it's like no conscience, nothing, just nothing upstairs. Like, again, you have all of the people there to help you deliver this baby. You don't, and the thing is, in this world, you don't have to keep there's options for you. Like, there are so many options for women to not like keep their child if they don't want. I mean, obviously there's abortion, which is a whole other issue, but like, if you go to a hospital and you deliver a baby and you're like, you don't want to be the mom, you don't want this baby, it's like, that's what adoption's for. I've like heard that. I mean, that's basically what people do when they put their baby up for adoption, right? They're like, I can't take care of this, I don't want this baby, and then adoption centers take them, and then people adopt them, or they go into foster care. Like, it's really sad. Like, honestly, that's terrible. I'm sure someone in the family would step in that case if she had a decent family. I feel like that's what my family would do if I didn't want my baby and I delivered it. And then, I don't know what the, protocol is there in those kinds of cases, like what most families do. But it's a dead baby boy for literally no fucking reason other than her being, I guess, scared of her mom finding out she had sex. Like, come on. That's what it seems like, at least. She's 19, so she's of the legal age to do that. And unless it's a religious thing, like no sex before marriage, I understand. Like, fuck, it's just really sad. The whole, like, her attending school and what is it? She has like a curfew and she's allowed to go to graduation. It's a bunch of horse shit. Let me see. The autopsy results. Yeah, the charges of first degree murder were brought against her a week ago. Alternatively, she molested a kid, which ultimately led to the death of a youngster. This is a really weird website. It's PKB News. It's almost like it's translated. It's like it was in another language and it's translated English. Like, I don't know how to explain it. When I was reading this earlier, I was like, the word choice is kind of like, it's not very like proper, I guess, for like an article. Alternatively, she molested a kid, which ultimately led to the death of a youngster. There is a big range of proof that points against her. A young lady from New Mexico accepted to give birth in a hospital bathroom. Several things remain to tell you about the news, which you will find in the next section of the article. Okay. Yeah. Oh, so let me play you some talks on this, some TikToks. So let's see if there's like, I have some nurse ones.
Police body cam footage, part 1, uncut 19-year-old Alexi Treviso baby in trash in emergency room.
She's having back pain, so we started working her up. We did a pregnancy test on her, showed positive. She was denying that she had sex. Then she said she had to go to the bathroom. She went to the bathroom. She was in there for quite a while. We kept knocking on the door. Finally, we got her to open the door, and there was blood and shit everywhere. She was cleaning it up. So we took her back to the room, and I was afraid that she knew she was pregnant. She had done something to herself. So the doctor started doing a vaginal exam on her. We had the lady come to clean the bathroom. She put the baby in the trash can, and then she put another clean liner over the top of it. Okay. So when they looked in there, there was no trash in there, but it was underneath a clean bag. The baby's dead. Okay, we have him in trauma too, but she killed the kid.
Yeah, how old was the baby?
I don't know. It's full term. She just had it. She had it in the bathroom. Was what happened, and then whatever she did, I don't know. She's gonna lie. She wouldn't even tell us she's pregnant. She's been lying the whole time. Okay. So that's what's going on. I just pulled the doctor out of the room, so nothing's been said to the patient or the mother that's in there yet. Okay. I have Leela, the housekeeper. If you want to interview her, she's the one that kind of found.
Because I wanted to get with you guys first and then get with her to get her statement before I even did anything.
Well, I'm the charge, and this is what has happened. Okay. You can interview the nurse that had her, the two nurses that were taking care of her. You can talk to the tech, which is Lori. She's the one that went in there and actually found it because Leela's like, this is really heavy. So then Lori went in there, and then of course the baby was underneath the clean liner.
Okay, yeah, if we can speak with Lori.
Okay, I'll get Lori and I'll get
Detective.
So, officer, so the first thing though is I need to make sure that the mother, the woman who delivered the baby, is medically stable. Right. I don't know if she delivered a placenta. She's bleeding a lot. I just got her accepted to Loveless, so I need to get her up there as soon as possible.
Okay, I'll get detectives over here right away.
Okay, so how I need to tell her what's going on, and I need to tell the mother what's going on. The mother, they're both in there together. Is one of you willing to be present for that conversation? Are you guys going? Okay, let's go right now and do this.
Shit's so intense. Like, I feel like we live in a world where if you can think about something terrible that could possibly happen, it probably can, or it probably will eventually, or it probably has happened. Like, it's insane. I mean, is there I feel like I saved another video. I think I got taken down. With the videos of her in the hospital bed, like, denying it or whatever. Let me see. Do you guys like these episodes when I talk about current events? My brother, I'm still I'll never forget when I think he texted me. He's like, hey, I like when you talk about like news and stuff on your podcast. I'm like, you listen to my brother? You listen to my podcast? It's funny. I don't know. I just like talking about things now that I'm like interested in, or I want to learn more about things that are going on in the world. Like, because obviously it's my show, the Jacqueline Monroe Show. I talk about my life. Okay. But like it's kind of like same shit, different day right now. Like, I'm not going to lie. It's like gym, work, content, walk the dogs, make dinner, go out to dinner, golf, like repeat. It's just like, I'd rather talk about like current shit. It's crazy like this. Alexi Treviso. Ooh, my ex just came up. That's so weird. Oh, go away. Are we friends on TikTok? What the fuck? You know how TikTok, I hate TikTok for this. It's like people you may know, or like it goes to your contacts and like shows. I think I blocked people that have my phone number from seeing my TikTok, because I think that's weird. Every time I see a random person from high school's TikTok video pop up, I'm like, ugh. Like, I don't know. It's so weird. It's like a time travel mind fuck thing where you're like, I literally haven't seen you since freshman year, and I only remember your face from that one class we took, but now you're like 15 years later, you're grown up and you're like talking about like relationship advice on TikTok or something. I'm like, what the fuck? It's like, yeah, my brain kind of gets like scrambled. I don't know. Let's see. Here's another video.
I'm sorry to shock you. We discovered a dead baby in the bathroom. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. He came out and me and I didn't know what to do. Lexi, I told you about this. I just asked you, baby, to tell me the truth. It was not crying or nothing. What did you do to it? Okay, stop right here. Stop. Number one priority, guys. Number one priority is she just had a baby. I don't know if she's delivered the placenta. She's bleeding significantly. Yeah. I've spoken to the obstetrician at Loveless. They want her up there as soon as possible. Okay. I need your permission to transfer her for medicals. She needs to be. She's 19. Oh, you're right. But she is a student too. She's still 19 you're right. You're right. She needs to. I'm sorry, I forgot she's 19. But you need to make sure that you're safe. I need to send you to Loveless to labor delivery. Will you please agree to that? Yes. Okay, great. I'm gonna work on that. I'm sorry about this, but in terms of delivering a baby and it looked like you tried to hide it, we do have to have the police involved. And nothing was crying. It came out with nothing. I know. But the baby's gonna have to be taken for autopsy and there'll be an investigator and everything. I'm really sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but we need to do this correctly, and I want to be transparent with you about what our steps are going to be. Okay. Officer, do you guys need to talk to her before we get her transferred?
How long is it going to be before you have to transfer
I
out?
don't know. Are we working on?
Okay.
Could take 20, 30 minutes. Yeah, hopefully, yes.
Okay. I got detectives on the way, so they're going to be talking to her.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
Do you guys have, I'm the charge nurse here, do you guys have any questions for me?
Like, how big is the baby?
It's full term.
What?
God, the mom's acting so like their reaction does not fit what happened. Like, I don't know how to explain it. When you watch the videos, it's like they're acting dumb, but it's like the mom's like, what? It was full term. It's like, how do you not know your daughter's fucking pregnant? You live with her. I'm assuming they were living together. I think she did. Yeah. It's wild. Like, I'm trying to put myself in Alexi's brain. I already mentioned like her fear of her mom finding out she had sex. Okay, that's like not a good excuse to do what she did. There's no excuse to do what she did, period. But I'm like, okay, if it came out dead and you're like, I don't know what to do with it, it's like you would have, like, if it was an innocent thing, you would be like, help, my baby's coming out, oh my god, I'm going into labor, I'm delivering this thing, holy fuck. She'd be screaming, help me. It's like none of that happened. It was clear that she's trying to cover this up and hide it, which is so dumb. It's so sad too. I'm like, fuck, this poor baby. Like, I mean, did she not feel kicking? Did she not have like symptoms of being pregnant? Like, was she obviously was gaining weight. She had a belly. Like, it's so shady, all of it. I think the hospital handled that very well. I feel horrible for the cleaning ladies. Like, they should sue for emotional. I don't know if you can do that. Like, what they witnessed finding a fetus in a trash can. Like, can they sue for emotional damage and distress? Like, shit. I think it was professionally handled from the time they found out to the time they talked to her, you know, listening to the hospital staff tell her, like, we have to get the police involved, because it looked like you're trying to hide the baby or like cover it up. Like, we have to do an autopsy. There's gonna be an investigator and like, they're very like, no bullshit with that, which is, and you know, they were doing their job. Like, hey, bitch, you're bleeding. Have you delivered the placenta? Like, it looks like you haven't, you're bleeding out. We have to rush you to the labor department. Like, I don't know. This makes me like appreciate, not that I didn't, but when I see stuff like this, I'm like so grateful, and I appreciate our hospital staff in this world so much, because this is kind of bullshit they have to deal with. And like, they have to be equipped with, I mean, the knowledge, the schooling, obviously, and just the like firsthand practice and experience helping people deliver babies and like all the possible things that could go wrong. Like, they have to know all this shit and be able to perform under extreme conditions like this and pressure. It's like, I'm just like, wow. I mean, respect, you know what I mean? Like, wow. I feel like, let me read some of the comments on here. I always like TikTok comments are just the best. How is the mom so calm? Pay close attention to the very end of the video. Looks like an umbilical cord was swung from her hand. Oh yeah, so they found, I guess there was like blood splattered on the wall in the bathroom too. Apparently the umbilical, she ripped the baby's umbilical cord. Wait, let me look at the end of the video because people are saying that. And apparently I mean, I've never had a baby. I've never cut an umbilical cord, but apparently it's hard to do with your bare hands. Like, extremely, that takes a lot of force. Let me see the end here. Mom ends up asking her what she did and why she didn't tell her, but here's the next part. A closer look at what looks to be a cord. This is body cam footage, I think, from the police.
Ma'am, could we get your identity?
Yes.
Can't really hear it. They're saying. I'm trying to look at this umbilical cord they're pointing out. I don't really see what they're talking about. Looks like the umbilical cord swung from her hand. Sorry, I'm like kind of I'm down the rabbit hole right now. Just bear with me.
The nurses come in and officer.
Trying to see. Okay. The nurse is examining her. I don't know. I can't see what they're talking about, but more comments. Those tears are not real. The mom consciously acting like her daughter is 12. She's 19. She's a student though. That doesn't matter. She's an adult. Exactly. She looks like she's trying really hard to push out some tears. She looked at her mom like, you said I want to get in trouble. Yeah. I thought I was the only one thinking she was trying not to smile. Yeah, again, like, it's not that hard. I feel like most people, if you're like me, you're pretty intuitive. You can read people well, and everything about this is just, it's wrong. Like their reaction especially, it's like, that doesn't make sense for what happened at all. And then when the police show up at the mom's house and she's acting stupid, it's like, it's just even more of a red flag. So I guess that's the latest on the Alexi Treviso story, case, whatever happening. Crazy, horrible, tragic. I guess I don't know. Maybe I'll like continue this story. Like, I'll keep covering it as things come out. Also, before I get into the UAP, ET, disclosure conference. I'm not sure if you're up to speed, but what is his name? Dr. Stephen Greer. Is it Stephen Greer? He's like the world authority on UFOs. Let me see here. He hosted this disclosure conference in DC on June 12th, and this is going to be like the nerd out segment. Like, this is going to be like me talking about aliens, me talking about UFOs. I haven't done this in a really long time. Yeah, Dr. Stephen Greer. Duh. I always get him and Bob Lazar mixed because those are like the two guys I think of when I think of UFOs and shit. But we're also going to talk about the UFO sighting in Vegas, or the alien sighting in Vegas, and the NASA conference, and maybe I'll get into that. But before, I just had a memory, a horrible memory, another terrible flashback about another murder I covered, or I talked about in the past. And I'm curious because it's June, and the last I heard, the trial was going to be in June. Oh my God, that's disgusting. Hold on. I just took a little breather for a sec and got up to pee, and then on the way to the bathroom I was like, wait, if I keep this feeling in my body for like the rest of the episode, I know that's terrible. Don't people remember the hold your wee for a wee challenge on the radio that one time, and people had to hold their piss for like a really long time, and they would win they'd win a wee, like a, you know, like the video game console thing, and like someone died from that. Okay, probably a stupid idea. What I'm saying is, like, on the way to the bathroom I'm like it like keeps me feeling more awake and more alert. So maybe we'll just, okay. Why did I see again? It's like, Jacqueline, pros keep shit to themselves. Like, they don't tell you that. Do they tell you that? I don't know. God damn, I want to lay out at the beach really bad right now. Holy fuck. Guys, California's back. I feel it. I feel it coming. It's like, it's literally been since October that we've had this bullshit cloudy weather. Anyways, what I was touching on, or I was trying to get to, and I don't really want to go down this topic or this case at all today. I just want to see when the trial is, or if it's already going. I'm talking about the Idaho murderer Bryan Kohberger case. Latest updates. Oh, this is a day ago. Moscow murder suspect Bryan Kohberger intends to challenge indictment. Let me read the latest update on this case, because like I was following it earlier this year in January, and then they said the trial or whatever is getting pushed back to June. So now that it's June, checking in. This kind of feels like a serious episode. I feel like last episode was like it was like when I'm like, just like a free bird. I don't know how to explain it. Just like, I had the crackhead energy thing happen to me early in the episode, and I feel like that continued the entire way. But today's like serious topics, serious tragedies, murder, death. That's what Corey always says when we get into bed. He's like, what do you want to watch? Death and destruction? Because like he's like, I feel like you like watching, like when I can't look at his face. There's like a big picture of his face on my computer. No. Oh fuck. He has like nothing going on in those eyes. I remember when the first mugshot came out, people were like, holy fuck. Yeah, he definitely did it. The Bryan Kohberger guy. Like, scares me because I've had like nightmares. I still sometimes have them about the whole stabbing thing, and yeah, sometimes it haunts me. It honestly does. So so much so there's like a couple times where I've, prior to like fully falling asleep, I've been like, I would kind of loosely dream about it, and then I would wake up and I'd be like, okay, I have to go double check all the doors are locked, all the windows are locked, everything's locked. I was that paranoid. That's like early when this all happened. Yeah. Anyways, what was I saying? I like lost my train of thought. This usually happens once an episode, but we get it back because I'm good at like coming back to my senses. San Diego, beach, sun, weather. My podcast style this episode. Oh, I was saying how Corey tells me when we watch Netflix at night that I tend to pay attention and actually stay up to watch the death and murder and destruction TV shows instead of like watching a movie or watching, I don't know, like, yeah, like usually movies. Like, I don't know why. Like, I'm a movie person, but 9 times out of 10, I want to watch like a murder documentary or like some kind of documentary series. Like the Arnold one I just watched was great. Like stuff like that. I feel like I pay more attention to it. I don't watch any reality TV. I feel like that's a past life. And I touched on that on a few episodes ago, or maybe it was I forget. It was like 2 ago. I was like, maybe it would serve me to watch reality TV and like keep up with pop culture news more, because that's fun to listen to when you listen to a podcast. I love listening to people cover pop culture topics, but I just like don't give a flying fuck, to be honest. Like I feel like it's, for me, it like I'll have like a phase of maybe watching the Kardashians, like watching a season, or like a phase of Real Housewives, or I've never watched Love Island. I don't watch The Bachelor or Bachelorette. I don't watch what other reality Vanderpump Rules. I watched the very early seasons of that, but I have no clue what's going on now. Like all this drama happening, I'm like oblivious. I'm oblivious to that. I have no clue where to even start. So I guess my current phase is murder porn, death and destruction. Anyways, on that note, let's talk about Bryan Kohberger's trial, whatever. A new court document filed by an attorney representing Bryan Kohberger says the Moscow quadruple homicide suspect plans to contest his grand jury indictment. Ann Taylor, the Kootenai County public defender, who is representing Kohberger, requested Latah County Second District Court stay proceedings until the grand jury record is argued and prepared. Kohberger's indictment led to his arraignment on May 22nd. During his arraignment, Latah County District Court Judge John Judge. Oh, a judge named John Judge. What a great name. Entered a not guilty plea on Kohberger's behalf when the defendant chose to stand silent rather than enter a plea himself. He is exercising due diligence to discover the grounds upon which to file a motion to dismiss related to how the grand jury was selected. Taylor wrote Kohberger's 4 counts of first degree. He faces 4 counts of first-degree murder and 1 count of burglary charges in the November stabbing deaths of University of Idaho students Kaylee Goncalves Kelves. I never say their names right, and I just feel horrible every time I do this. Kaylee, Madison, Xana, and Ethan. He remains in Latah County Jail as he awaits a trial that is scheduled for October 2nd to November 12th. So this shit got pushed back to October now. Kohberger stood silent to preserve his right to seek dismissal of charge. Wow. All right, so there's the update. This isn't going to move forward until October. Idaho prosecutors asked for an additional $120,000 for Bryan Kohberger trial. What's this? Idaho murders. What to know about the case and charges 3 weeks ago. This is New York Times. I went to Washington State University where this guy's getting his PhD, and when this happened, like it hit close to home, and then I knew someone in my hometown whose son was Ethan, and it's like I just know that both of those campuses so well, so like that's why I'm even like interested in finding out what's all going on, because yeah, I mean, that was like a past life now. College, holy shit. You only get that one time. I highly recommend college. you know, other than the money part and the waste of money it can be for like so many people, like I mean, depends what you do. Wait, if you're just like, just be poor, right? And you'll get money from the government to go to college. Don't they like give you grants and shit? But like, it's not going to cover all of it. Depends what school you go to, I think. Just go to community college like I did for 2 years. You know, pay for it out of pocket, whatever. It's like, I forget what a semester would cost, like $1,700 or something. And then enroll in like a major university with like a sick football team and like a Greek row and like really good partying, or like go to like a party school and then fuck off for 2 years, and then it'll be cheaper than going for 4 years, and then you'll have that college experience. Because like I reminisce, I don't like think about it, but like when I think about it, I'm like, damn, that was so fucking fun, and I'll never get that back. You know what I mean? It's like a phase of life that, like, when you're in it, it's the funnest shit ever, and then it goes away, and then you're like, oh my god, how is that? Almost, how many years ago is that? 2016. I graduated in 2016. Literally can't do math. I'm not even gonna try. That's how you know I'm a dumb. I'm good at some things, not subtracting backwards, or wait, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16, 7. 3, carry the 6, bring over the 1, bump up the 2, delete the 0. Why does 2023 minus 2016 confuse me? Odd number? Like 23 is like a weird number to subtract numbers from. I just don't be. This is authenticity, right? Being authentic. I mean, what am I good at? It doesn't matter what you're not good at. Like, don't focus on what you're not good at. Focus on what you're good at and just double down on that. Like, I'm good at podcasting, so that's what I'm doing right now. Math, that's why I'm not an engineer. That's why I'm not teaching math class, okay? Like, I'm not a scientist. I'm not studying UFO. I'm not doing any, like, space shit. That I used to, like, when you're a little kid, you're like, I want to be an astronaut, and then you find out how much math that's gonna require, and you're like, I'm out. Fuck. Yeah, I don't think I've ever talked about my community college days, but like I literally got a 0.9 my first year. Like I almost flunked out of community college. And then after that, I was like, Mom, Dad, I hate this. I don't want to go to college. This is bullshit. It's not for me. I was like working retail at the time, and living at home. And they sat me down and I was like, Mom, Dad, I want to go to fashion school. They're like, okay, we'll help you apply to fashion school. And I literally wanted to go like FITM in LA, and like, what's the one in New York? It's like, I don't know, there's like fashion school in New York. And I was like fantasizing about being like a fashion bitch. And then that all went away. And then I ended up studying abroad and in London before I transferred to WSU, where I got my comm degree, my communication degree, with an emphasis in PR, which is what I'm doing now. So yeah, if you don't know, rapid fire fact, if you're a new listener, I work in PR and I have a podcast. PR job keeps lights on. This is my passion, if you get the gist. So anyways, let's get into this UAP ET disclosure conference, because like as a spectator of all of this, I've been watching these TikTok videos of it this whole week, and like I think all the people want is a definitive answer on UFOs, aliens, what we have, what we don't have, what we know, what we don't. Like we just want definitive, clear answers, because up until this point it's just a lot of like fuzzy, like, oh, we have like, I think, what was it, they came out and said during 2020, we have crafts that are not from this world. Okay, big drop. And then obviously there's like UFO sightings, like shitty videos of aliens and UFOs. So there's like all this, but as far as like what's really going on, we as a public, you know, lay people of the United States don't really know what the fuck's going on. So this was like a full disclosure conference where they're like, we have this, we know this, we don't know this. The government's actually a victim in all of this. I'll get to that, which is fucking crazy to think about how they're actually the threat is not the threat, excuse me. The lack of information and the secrecy is actually the threat. It's not the UFOs and the aliens themselves, because if they when they talk about them and the beings they've discovered or whatever, they're harmless apparently. Like, they're not here to kill us, or if they were, they already would. But the fact that there's so much secrecy and information being held or withheld about what's really going on is more of a threat, because like the government, and there's so many departments and it's all compartmentalized, right? There's like secret groups doing all this alien UFO shit. It's like on the side, underground or whatever the fuck, and they're doing things illegally with this technology, and the government's not part of it. It's like not the government. It's not the government hiding the UFOs from us. It's like these secret groups somehow that over the years, I mean, this has been going on since like the 40s. This has been like a thing, and it's just like swept under the rug. No one really fucking talks about it. Not even the government doesn't even know what the fuck's going on. Apparently, according to Stephen Greer, like the way he phrases it is like they're victims in all of this, which it's like I never like hearing that the government's a victim of anything. So who the fuck knows? But I'll play some videos and then I'll kind of recap the conference and like what happened. But it's just like, it's wild because, and then I'm like, is he is he shady? I'm like, is he being, is this all like a fake disclosure conference? Because it's just hard to know what to believe. But I'll say this, it's very compelling. And the testimonials or whatever, the firsthand encounter stories during this conference from military guys are insane. Like you can just, the detail or they're great actors. Like, I don't know what to believe, right? Like we don't have, and there's like a lot of Disney drawings of like what these guys saw, where it's like, why isn't there like a clear picture? You know what I mean? Like, why don't we have like HD photos? I mean, especially in 2023 with iPhones and shit now, it's like, that's the most annoying thing. It's like, show me a high definition, high res photo of an alien or like a UFO. I mean, they kind of do have it. Like, I'll get to that. There's stuff people catch on their phones. It's like, that's something, you know what I mean? So, but I think the reason why the government, it's not the government doing it. It's like these secret groups don't want to tell us anything, is they want to keep that technology, the alien craft technology, whatever, proprietary. And like this technology that they have, according to Dr. Stephen Greer, could like solve so many problems in the world. Like, I think he mentioned climate stuff, like the oil and gas industry would like go away if we use this technology. Like, I don't know if he mentioned like food shortages. I don't know. There's like all these world issues that could be solved if we had access to this technology. But it's literally like top secret, only used by this group or whatever. And then I'm hearing shit like, oh, these craft they have, or these, they make, they reproduce the alien craft. They're like it's like an ART, not a tier. I don't fucking know the terminology in the right word. I'll get into the videos and he'll explain it. But, then I'm hearing about like the drug trade, and they're like flying these crafts around with drugs in them. They basically create a copycat version of the actual alien spacecraft. So however the fuck they know how to do that, I guess, because these aliens that are coming here are like bending space and time or whatever. Like the craft that's flying around is like, I mean, and this is what's crazy. It's like literally like they're they're not, what do you call that technology, like zero propulsion or whatever, like they're like, yeah, bending space-time or something like that. And what's crazy to think about, I'm like, look, if these aliens and these alien spacecrafts, these UAPs, UFOs, whatever the fuck, are that advanced, like why are they apparently crashing? Like that doesn't make any sense. And also, it's not like we're shooting them down, and I don't think we could even do that if we tried. Like they're just like, they're like skittish. Like you can't fucking like shoot them. They're gonna like fucking notice that and move really quick and like get out of the way or like fly back into space. I don't know, but just the fact that they're like quote unquote crashing doesn't make any sense, unless there is something that Dr. Stephen Greer talks about where I don't know, again with terminology, I'm not a scientist, I don't fucking know how this works, but there's like sonar, radar, whatever, there's like waves that we shoot out with nuclear power plants and shit that disrupts the alien spacecraft's ability to fly properly, and I think that might be crashing them. And so that's what we see when we find a crashed, this all sounds like mumbo jumbo, phony baloney, like bullshit, and who the fuck knows if it is or isn't. But the fact that this was like a legit press conference in DC, and it's been like, I don't know, there's something about the nature of the location and the people that were there, the depth they talked about, all this stuff, and like they're just saying it all. They're just really saying everything. They're not, it's like everything you want to know, they're like saying it. Or like anything you have a question about, they're telling you. Like describing the bodies of the aliens, describing the craft, describing like how they move, like in detail. Where, and I've always said this about UFOs and stuff, or I've always thought this. I'm like, okay, so, you know, ever since, I don't know when the first encounter was, but I feel like humans over time or throughout time have always described what they see in a very consistent way, where across the world, aliens have big heads, little bodies, big eyes, right? They're like, they have like a certain look to them, and that's what we draw. That's what we make in the movies, right? That's what we always draw when we draw aliens, right? And then with the UFOs, it's like it's a disc, it hovers, or it's like a little tube, like a Tic Tac or whatever. Like everyone describes what they see in a very consistent way across the world, where that's got to be something, right? Like I've always thought that, like, you know what I mean? Like everyone's having the same experience or seeing a similar thing. So it's got to be, I'm just saying this now. I believe in all of this. I'm sold. I'm pretty sold. I question the hell out of everything, right? Like I'm pretty skeptical, kind of a, what do you call it? Contrarian, like, you know, I'm just because, I don't know, it's just how my brain works. And I have this like individualism complex where I want to be, I don't want anyone to be like me. I want to be like me and myself and unique and different. And it's like literally I'm just like you. Okay. I always say that here. Like yes, I am a podcast host and I'm a solo podcast host, and I have this amazing raw talent and comedic sauce and charm and style and wit and coolness and quirkiness and natural raw ability to entertain and keep your attention for hours upon hours upon hours for years upon years. I mean, this is my 3rd year doing this. While that is all true, I'm just like you, and you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of people with podcasts doing what I do, but anyways, why did I say stupid shit like that? So back to the UFO thing. What was I just saying? Like literally I go on some tangent about bullshit and then I forget what I was saying. Oh, we all have like a similar experience when we encounter UFOs and aliens. So like something to that, right? But let me pull up. These might be kind of long, but I think if you haven't seen any of these UFO or UAP ET disclosure conference videos, it's I think it's worth a listen. So these might be long, but give it like a few minutes a piece. Just nerd out with me for a second. I'm gonna listen to these again. I've probably watched these all like twice already, so here you go.
So what's going on with this? All of you have seen over the last 4 or 5 years these footage come out, and the Pentagon's confirmed are three-dimensional objects with sensors and what have you, the so-called Tic Tac and others. Now, I've spoken to one of the pilots who chased these objects. You've seen it on CNN, 60 Minutes, all these places. What hasn't been told when this event happened in the early 2000s is that these objects, which you'll see in a moment, particularly one of them, we have matching top secret witness testimony of them being a man-made object that our jet pilots and military don't know exists. This is dangerous in terms of deconflicting operations. So let's go to the next and play this.
This is okay. So now he plays I think it's the Tic Tac video or the gimbal video. So they find out. This is kind of a long video, but I'll summarize really quick. He plays the gimbal video, and we later discover or later find out, or it's later confirmed that was a man-made UFO, whatever object, that the military was not aware of. But there's legit evidence now showing that these are built by a secret group or whatever, and that's what was caught on the radar or whatever when the military guys. There's like that famous footage out there. You can see it of the gimbal UFO thing. So his whole point, his whole why does he care? Why is he doing this? Is because he thinks that all of this needs to be out in the open, and I'll just let him talk. I mean, fuck. It's just the fact that our military doesn't know what's really going on, and our government, it's like it needs to all be basically the whole gist of what he's trying to do is like get this shit out in the open and get this all like public, so the public knows what's up. I tried. Here we go. Let me just play the fucking video.
Our team understands it, and we're welcome to share that in a longer brief with media folks. And here's the 2004 off the coast of San Diego Tic Tac. It's fundamentally the same object. Next. And here it is. We have a top secret whistleblower came forward a few months ago in 1991. So now we're talking quite some time ago, way before the 2004 event, that is offloading off a C-130, one of these UAPs, but it's actually a man-made one. And here you have the color illustration. This man is very afraid to come forward. He was warned not to, and at one point was told he would be, quote, executed. Next. So here's what we need to go through very quickly. But basically, there are two types of these so-called UAPs. And I've said this. Some are extraterrestrial vehicles, ETVs, and some are ATs or ARVs, advanced reproduction vehicles or alien reproduction vehicles. People use different terms. The extraterrestrial groups are absolutely not hostile. However, screaming caps, they are increasingly concerned about human hostility and our weapon systems, which include nuclear and scalar, the so-called, Dr. Zahari shared this weekend, about what scalar electromagnetic fields are. But just to give you a sense of it, you all know what an electromagnetic pulse is. That's at the speed of light. The scalar systems are, instead of a wave, is a point that goes out longitudinally. Some call them longitudinal waves. These have been studied. Tesla talked about scalar systems. They have been weaponized. And those are the primary systems used to target and hit these electromagnetic field propulsion craft that cause them to fall like a rock out of the sky. You have a FBI memo from a field agent.
Okay, that confirms what I just said earlier about them having this amazing technology, and it doesn't make sense that they just crash. But now that makes sense based on what he just said about how it's these magnetic waves or whatever causing them to crash. Cool. All right.
That we released, it's now one of the most watched, viewed documents on the FBI website of the fact that a field agent at the Roswell, after Roswell, said to J. Edgar Hoover that a disc was downed because we had switched on a new radar system. So let me explain the euphemisms that are used in this field. Radar can track an aircraft by bouncing a wave off of the fuselage, but it also can have piggybacked an active system to not to hit it. So you can have an active weapon system embedded in a radar system. So that's what began to be experimented with, and this is why from the mid-40s forward, there were a number of these downed objects that we've been able to document. If we've documented 122 of them, I suspect there have been multiple numbers of that. These technologies are unsanctioned. They are illegal operations, and this can be proven in any court of law, and we're about to launch a massive civilian RICO. These technologies would immediately solve the world's energy, environmental, and poverty problems. But the point...
That's a part that's like mind-blowing. These technologies could solve poverty, environmental, and climate problems. Is that what he just said?
Unsanctioned. They are illegal operations, and this can be proven in any court of law, and we're about to launch a massive civilian RICO. These technologies would immediately solve the world's energy, environmental, and poverty problems. But the point is that these technologies would have a huge revolutionary effect. Macroeconomically, there would be some losers: oil industry, public utilities, nuclear power, now wind, solar, surface roads eventually would be obsolete. So these organizations have also been targeting and successfully down the ET vehicles. The covert group has technologies to launch a convincing false flag operation detrimental to the national security. So the chief characteristics of this illegal secret government called ISG projects, they're the CIA folks and Pentagon people and most of the people in the government are victims of this. They're not culpable. When people say, why is the government hiding all this? Well, the government is very complex and is highly compartmentalized. These operations have been run by a clandestine, unsanctioned group. And therefore, our military and our intelligence community and our political leaders are, in fact, victims of this secrecy. I want to refer very briefly to one of the very first CIA director, Admiral Roscoe Hillenkoetter, who in 1961 wrote to the New York Times and said, the secrecy around UFOs is a threat to the national security, not the UFOs.
That's what I was trying to say earlier.
This has all been turned on its head, where they're trying to say UAPs are a threat. Well, the man-made ones are. The extraterrestrial ones aren't. This has to be made crystal clear to the American people so we don't stumble into a absolute disaster of epic proportions. So these operations that I've been referring to in the United States, we have parallel projects in Australia at Pine Gap. There are projects in the United Kingdom. These are all very sub rosa, off the radar. I have done briefings for the Minister of Defenses of Australia, Canada, and the Great Britain. None of them were read into these projects, and yet we had evidence they were ongoing. So they also act without acknowledging any national boundaries. What do I mean by that? So we have an operational facilities in other countries that we move in and out of with alacrity, without any knowledge or approval of that government. So this is also not good, obviously, and dangerous. But because of the nature of our operations, which can be cloaked, that have these AT or ARV vehicles, they can move off radar, they can go in and out of areas, and we have witnesses who can prove what I just said.
Holy shit. Yeah, so I feel like it's in the best interest of the American public, the military, and the government to be in on all this for national security reasons. Like, you know, if shit goes down and we're like, what the fuck? We don't know what any of this is. Like, that's not going to be good. So if we know, like, fuck. It's like, what do you call the group? Like their secret, it's like an IR. He called it something. IR. Illegal. I don't know. I can't find it. It's secret organization. It's like, who are these people? Like, what in the fuck? It's like that's my next question. Like, it's just like with the people pulling the puppet strings of the world. Like, who are they, right? Like, well, where do they live? What do they do all day? Like, what's going on? It's interesting. Like, when this military guy was telling his story about seeing a UFO, the guy he was working with, like, got really pissed off at him. Like, when it appeared in front of him, they were doing this, like, military training thing, and there was like gunfire. I don't know. It was like, you know, a really intense situation going on. I'm trying. Hey guys, I'm doing my best. I'm just trying to get this out. I guess, you know, some guy was like angry at him for being like, what the fuck is this UFO right here? Or what's this thing with all these lights on it? Like, what the fuck? And like this guy got mad at him. So like that guy knows what's up, but like, who's that guy? You know what I mean? Like a general who's like been involved in this on the DL for like years and years. Like there's like, I feel like there's a group of people like that know what's up and they're like involved, and then they're blended with our military. I don't know how to explain it. That's just how I see it. That makes sense. Because he was just describing one of those replicated Tic Tac craft getting the guy he's afraid he's going to get executed if he comes out and talks about this. He had seen one of those Tic Tacs going into one of those giant military planes. Like there was a picture of on the video, a drawing of what he saw, and it's like a Tic Tac thing going in the back of, what are those big giant, you know, those cargo size like military planes? Yeah. So he saw that. So that's a military plane with military guys all around it, loading it on. Like they're all in the loop of what's they're all part of, like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. It's like fucking crazy. Let me pull up. I'll do like a story. I'll do a story time one where like a testimonial. This one's good. I like this guy. Here you go.
Would have kept, and it was very smooth. We had all looked at each other as we got online, and we decided to investigate. The further thing I want to say is that I actually took pictures and video of this before we actually trucked down. We had a dump pouch where we basically, if we expend ammunition, we want to retain our magazines, so we put those there. So I dropped my camera in there, and we decided to go down. We didn't have any communications, which was weird, and that was a very odd thing, and it's something that either could have been good that we didn't, or it could have been something that could have been very bad. And it just however you want to look at that. Once we got down this slope, we were approximately 150 meters away from this craft. When we all got to the point where we could see it, just like behind here, again, Mr. Schratt, phenomenal job. You can see that the craft here actually was rough.
See, it's just a sketch drawing. Like, that's my whole suspicion about all this. I'm like, did he say he took pictures though? So like they have pictures. Did he say that at the beginning? I feel like he did. It's just the lack of clear pictures. Can they not show it because of, you know what I mean? I'm just thinking out loud. Okay.
About 300 feet. And the reason why I know this is because you could fit 3 of the helicopters that we flew in on underneath this craft. And it had an audible hum to it. kind of like a guitar amp if you were to unplug that, or like a transformer. It's very audible. If I was to hear that sound again, I could tell you, okay, it's probably this thing or something similar to that. It's very distinct. And the way that it was floating, which was about 10 or 15, 20 feet off the ground, it was kind of a very eerie thing to see because I've never seen anything like that in my life. When we got up to that point, we were then intercepted by a team of soldiers or rogue military force, if you will. The most concerning thing about this is they all had American...
Yeah, the rogue military force. Kind of what I was alluding to about that Tic Tac UFO thing getting put on a military plane. It's like a rogue group within the military kind of involved in all of this. That's what it seems like to me. Because what he describes next is how they were dressed and how they talked. It's not like... It's like they're waltzing up. This guy's talking about his encounter where there's this 300-foot floating disc in front of him. And, in my mind, I'm like, oh, there's aliens on it, or there's aliens around, or it's, squishy people with big eyes controlling this thing, or whatever. But his encounter was, no, these are like people, human beings, rogue military men who speak English involved with this thing, or like controlling this thing, or part of this thing, or flying this thing. So that's the crazy fucking part where I'm like, it's probably a replicated, what do they call it? It's a replica craft. It's not like an actual UFO. It's like the one where it's man-made. So it's probably that, because we have the technology from the ones that actually crashed, for the ones that are actual UFOs. So we just replicate it, and then that's what these guys were using. Okay, here's the next part of the video.
ILX, they had American gear. They had OTVs, black. They had black camouflage. They had very similar setups to what we have, but more high speed, something what you would see special operation groups these days have. They had no insignias on. They had no ranks. They had nothing that would signify who they were. They had black ball caps. They had M4A4s that were equipped with ACOGs, which was a step up from what we were currently issued, as well as PEC 16 IR illumination devices that you use for night vision and night patrols, things like that. So we were engaged. We had 8 of them put the drop on us. You could audibly hear them blow the safety selectors off. They basically started screaming at us, telling us what we were doing. We were not allowed to be there. Who were we with? What were we doing there? Threatened that they could kill us right then and there. We could get lost in the jungle. They could throw us out of a helicopter.
This is in Western Indonesia, by the way. I didn't say that. I don't think you said it.
Helicopter if they needed to. It was very nerve-wracking at that point, especially looking to my fellow Marines and seeing the reactions on their faces too. We were all freaking scared, to say none the less. So with that being said, each Marine was then patted down along with myself. We had our weapons taken from us. They were basically cleared in condition 4, which means they had no round chamber, no magazine in. They dumped our magazines out of our mag pouches as well onto the deck. And then again, because of Marine Corps order, how things are with that, we were told to keep our military ID in our left breast pocket. So they knew that. They asked for our military identification. We gave it to them, obviously, because they have guns in our face. So provided that to them. They had something that looked like modern day smartphones, but this is 2009, so it's not really as high tech compared to obviously today. So they took some pictures of our military ID, and then they had something that reminded me of a BAT system, which is a biometrics tracking system that we would use. This is for insurgents or any things like that. It would take fingerprints, it would take retina scans, it would take pictures of them and document them. So if there's other militaries that were coming to relieve our post, they would actually have this information too to know who they are dealing with. That's what it reminded me of, and I had trouble scanning the IDs. As this is going on, we're going back between these guys as well as what's going on in the background. At that time, there was 4 of these trucks, which were F-350s. They were up armored. They were pretty beefy. They had weapon cases that I've seen before because of something that we've actually loaded weapons into. They had 2 of them that were in the back of each truck. They also had these containers that was illustrated right here, which come to find out through recent revelations from yesterday from somebody who came forward to Dr. Greer. I don't know who they are, but what they had told him And what he has told me is that this gentleman knows exactly what these were used for, because they had like a cylinder on the front, which is either for oxygen or what I had hypothesized was for vacuum sealing, which lead me to suspect that they were smuggling narcotics or drugs. Come to find out, it's more disturbing than that. This gentleman has firsthand account with this and says that it was for people.
Okay, that's the end of the video, and that clears up what I was saying earlier about how these man-made UFO craft that these rogue dudes or military dudes are flying around are for drugs. I think I misheard that, or I didn't hear the end there where he said that he thought it was for narcotics, those crates or whatever, those containers. But this guy apparently, who had firsthand experience, encounter with these things, said it's actually for people. So it's like, that's just something someone said, right? Like, who the fuck knows? But it's like really compelling storytelling at the end of the day. It's like, he's taking me for a ride there. I could really picture what was going on. And for some reason, when I think about this, I'm like, because he just described getting or stumbling upon this craft that these American rogue military dudes are flying around or controlling, because it makes it seem less like, if this is all a hoax and all bullshit, like that makes this seem more believable than him describing the aliens. We had a telepathic conversation and they told us to drop our weapons and they said this to us, because like that, no one's gonna fucking believe that. But because he just described English speaking military dudes that were wearing the same gear, had Ford F-350 trucks with, you know, ammo cases or gun cases on them and like crates and shit that they've seen before, it makes this seem like, okay, well, first they replicated the alien spacecraft, and I believe that because they just duplicated the technology somehow, or somehow like, I don't know, fucking figure that out over the last like 100 years. And then they use them, and they use them on the DL in secrecy, and it's, you know, and these secret groups are in like, what was this, Western Indonesia, Eastern Indonesia, this is 2009. I don't know, like it's believable, because I think it's believable because what he just described wasn't like, oh, I saw an alien. And Dr. Greer describes, like when he goes into it, there's another video of him describing a replicated alien body that had like fiber optics in it. When it got like ripped open, they saw all the, like, it was like a Borg from Star Trek, like had like fleshiness to it and like alien fleshiness to it, but then underneath it was all like robotics. So that also seems believable, like, because it's not like, oh, it ripped open and there's like alien blood and organs rushing out of it. I like how I just said I'm a believer, and I'm also like questioning everything, because what are people saying on the comments? Oh, they tellin'. Stephen Greer is the GOAT. He's been blowing this up for years. Don't fear UFOs or aliens. Fear the U.S. military complex. They're about to blow some shit up and blame it on aliens. On the day that I no longer have to go to work because of aliens is the day that I will believe. Yeah. People are always saying, like in these videos that I've watched of Stephen Greer, that his voice is like super shaky and he looks scared. And, you know, obviously what he's publicly disclosing now is like highly classified secret information that's, or has been for so long, and now it's all out in the open, and he's just saying it as raw and as like, there are things he has said or things he's alluded to where he's like, if I say this, it's gonna scare the shit out of people, so I can't say it, but just know that we have to say this little bit of information now because something's gonna go down the next 6 to 12 months. Like, that's what he was alluding to, and I was like, holy fuck, like it has to be like a now thing. Like this conference, this disclosure conference has to happen now because of whatever's happening in the next 6 to 12. Like, what the fuck? But again, with me questioning this a little bit, like, if this military guy's a good actor, good storyteller, and he's just, or what am I saying? If that was all a bullshit story, it's like believable because, again, it's like there were humans there. It wasn't aliens. But then there's like, okay, should I get into the Vegas UFO sighting? Or are there any other videos maybe?
Two-part question. The first one being, is there no hostility from another species because there's a higher governing species, or is it just the fact that there is no hostility whatsoever? How can we be sure of that? First question.
Everybody who I know who has dealt directly with those beings have told me our own experience, and that is they are completely non-hostile. They have been portrayed as such because how do you unite the world around a military response? You create a false alien threat. This is what Werner von Braun warned about, and we are very much at that point, unfortunately. So I think that calmer minds need to prevail, but there is no evidence they are hostile. Now let me make one other point. As I said one time to a general, I won't say who it is, because if they were hostile and given the galactically foolish things we have done, targeting them, striking them, now these systems that are faster than the speed of light, moving out into space, the technologies they have in a fraction of a second could shut down all those systems and everything else. They have not. Why have they not done that? Because they are essentially very peaceful, highly organized, socially evolved, psychologically and emotionally evolved civilizations. One other point, common sense. If you possess those sort of weapons and you're still of the consciousness of violence, you're going to blow yourself up or some nearby planet with you. Because we're not talking about, let's forget science fiction. You're not talking about boom, boom with a laser beam, right? Or a kinetic missile, or even a thermonuclear missile. You're talking being able to affect the fabric of space-time. And then if those technologies are weaponized, it's over in a fraction of a second. So the proof, I said to one senior military guy, that they are not hostile is that you and I are still breathing the free air of Earth. If you know what we've been doing, it's quite clear that this is actually proof that they're not hostile. If you understand what those technologies are, and if you understand what covert illegal projects have been doing.
Damn. I'm reading the comments. I bet they'd forgive my student loans. Earth is a ghetto. Come to find out the aliens pity us. People are like, I trust the aliens more than the government. I mean, he's got a good point. Like, if they were gonna blow us up, they would do it already. But then, I like how he said they're emotionally evolved, peaceful beings that, it's crazy. And there's like 3 sisters or something in, was it Brazil, that had an alien encounter, and I think they all said they were speaking telepathically with it, or like it talked to them. And people, I think there's like multiple stories like this where the aliens, like, it needs help, or it, like, I don't know, it's like peace, it's like not mad, it's like being nice to them somehow, or I don't know what they're talking about. I forget the specifics, but I think that kind of wraps up the UAPET disclosure conference. It's fucking wild. Like, what a time to be alive. I feel like in our lifetime we're gonna get the answers. We're pretty close. Like, this is a good start. It's just crazy though, where I'm like, we all have these fucking iPhones. Like, how come we haven't had the videos and the pictures suck. They all suck. There's some really, I feel like some of the little moving things in the sky, some of those videos, like the little dots skidding or like being all skittish, like a light dot, it's like a UFO or something. I feel like those look real and like those are compelling, but like sometimes I'll see like a stupid UFO video. It's like that looks like it was just made in, you know, like a what do you call it? It's like an AI like video of a UFO. So that's the only thing for me. I'm like, where's the HD footage? And let's get to this UFO sighting or this alien sighting in Vegas. So, excuse me. I don't know, like a week or so ago, there's footage on a police officer's body cam of an object falling from the sky. It's like a big beam of light falling from the sky really fast somewhere in Vegas. I don't know what part. Somewhere in Nevada. Let's just say Nevada. And almost like a meteor falling. Something you've probably seen before, like a falling star, something like that. But kind of big. And it was caught on the body cam of the police officer, which I trust that footage. I feel like that's legit. That's not made up. Okay, that happened. People witnessed that. People saw it. And this nice little family came out and said, or they end up calling the police and freaking out, taking videos, getting their guns out and shit, because they have Ring camera footage of a big loud boom, like crash noise, as if this alien spacecraft fell in their backyard or something, or like it hit the ground behind them. I don't know. Like, to me, I'm like, okay, then we would find it the next day in daylight, and because this happened at nighttime, then we'd see something that had crashed. There'd be a hole in the ground. There'd be something there, right? It's like whatever that crash was, it's like, where is it? You know what I mean? I haven't looked into this further if they found that. Let me just type in Nevada UFO sighting. Body cam. Yeah, Las Vegas family calls 911 after alleged UFO crash. Police body cam shows strange object. And anyways, this guy gets on TikTok and describes what he saw. I think the son of the family there, and they say they saw the alien. They like took video. There's like a horrible, it's like, God, you had like one job. All you had to do is like get this thing on fucking camera. The whole family's like behind their fence at their house, like peeking around it, and they all have like their pistols out. They all see something. So like, here's the deal with this UFOs or alien sighting and these people freaking out. It's like they're seeing something. I know it's dark. I know you can be like, I know people hallucinate. I don't know if they're on drugs. Like, I don't know what the fuck was going on, but when I see these videos, these people all freaking out, it's like they saw something. They described it as like a 10-foot tall skinny alien. Let me see if the guy's I forget if I saved it. He did like a story time on what he saw. Let me see. UFO Vegas. Is this a good episode? I don't know. Here's they're all like looking behind the fence at the alien in that video. Then there's this really like fake video of it's like a black and white home security camera clip of this alien like peering, like creeping in their backyard. It looks so fake. Like immediately I was like, no, it's so fake. But I'm trying to find the video of the boy explaining what happened. I mean, Area 51's in Nevada, right? I remember when I went, I shouldn't talk about that. I didn't like go to Area 51 or anything, but there was this airline that when I was staying at Mandalay Bay, across from from Mandalay Bay, there's like this, is it called like Janet Air? Oh my God. I think it's called Janet Air. And it's like a shuttle. Janet, sometimes called Janet Airlines, is the unofficial name given to the highly classified fleet of passenger aircraft operated by the United States Department of the Air Force as an employee shuttle to transport military and contractor employees to special access facilities. So I remember when I was staying at Mandalay Bay, my brother, I don't know, like he like knew about it or like looked it up when we were there. And he's like, yeah, all these guys are going to Area 51. That's where they're going on this plane right now. Cause it's like a special airline just for them. So it's a highly classified fleet of passenger aircraft. Cool. So what was I saying? Family who saw 10-foot aliens with large shiny eyes placed under surveillance. What? Yeah. They just saw it. It was crazy. Like this whole family's like freaking out. They had these what are they called? These like forklifts on their property somewhere or next to their property, and there's like a video of them like looking at it and saying they can see a face or see something in there or like behind it. And yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's the story. Police body cam footage catches this object, this bright light falling from the sky. His family's got this boom sound on their surveillance camera at the timing of when that fell. Then they freak out because they see this, alien in their backyard. And they're all like in on like, holy shit, we all see it. It's here. It's like, then what? How do you like live there anymore? How do you like go to sleep that night? I think the boy said they all went inside and started praying, which God bless. I mean, that'll definitely keep him safe in that situation. I mean, hell, I feel like, you know what? When people are about to die, do you notice that like, even if you're not religious, everyone like prays to God if they're in like a really intense, like life-threatening situation? I feel like everyone's like, God, please watch over me right now. Please keep me safe. God help me. God help me. It might be like atheists probably would fucking do that in that situation. But anyways, they're all praying. But how do you go to sleep that night? How do you move forward? Like, is the alien walking through the neighborhood? Like, you know what I mean? Like, how do you move on? Like, do you just assume it went away? Like a stray coyote like comes into your backyard and then it gets freaked out and then it leaves. Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I don't know. There wasn't like a follow-up on this story that I've seen come out yet. But what I was going to say is that whenever videos of people witnessing an alien come out, I'm like, they're reacting as if they're really fucking looking at an alien, right? Like this family, or there's other videos out there, or people who see UFOs, they're like, they're freaking the fuck out. Like they're all like strangers, it could be like in a mall parking lot and like a bunch of strangers are all freaking out and they're all looking up at the sky or they're all pointing at some alien in the corner or whatever. Like that's what is interesting to me. It doesn't seem staged. It doesn't seem made up. It doesn't seem like they're acting or trying to make a viral video. Like, if they are, they're great at it because it convinces me every time I see it. Like it's like people genuinely freaking the fuck out. I mean, these guys all have their guns. They're like ready to shoot. Like, and people are like doing slow-mo. They're brightening up the video. They're like trying to like screenshot things and find it. And it's like, again, why can't we just one HD video or picture, just something that's not fake, obviously. Okay, I think it's funny how I'm like, I gotta pee and I'm gonna maintain this feeling for the entire episode so I have more energy. And I don't know if you're watching this on YouTube or Spotify on the video version of the podcast, but I literally just downed like a LaCroix and Alani in a bottle of water. after I said that. Like, I kept drinking water. But that's the episode. I gotta wrap it. I don't know if I should go tan right now. I don't know if I should go grocery shopping. I'm kind of in that weird mode of my life or time right now. What am I fucking I need to go. Where like I'm traveling next weekend, so I'm like, do I buy groceries? Do I not? Do I get a little bit, but then how much do I need? I have to like really like, because every time, literally I have a problem. Every time I go to the grocery store, I buy enough food to feed like 25 people. Like I overdo it, and I buy all the snacks, all of the meats, all of the vegetables. Like I feel like, I don't know what it is. I just go ham every time. Even if we don't need all of it, I'm like, it's good to have back stock, or like it's good to have options, or it's good to put things in the freezer. It's good to have snacks. Let's have every type of snack we can possibly have. So right now it's pretty bare. So yeah, I don't know if I should go tanning and lay out the beach. I don't know if I need a nap. I honestly should probably take a nap. Groceries, editing this. I should probably do that. Corey's like, you should knock out another podcast because we're traveling, and you probably want to get another one done before we leave. And maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll record another Patreon podcast. Patreon.com/TJMS just launched yesterday. Really stoked. It was fun. Corey and I sat down, and like, it was so just us. I don't know how to explain it. And yeah, I don't know what the content is always going to, it's always going to be 2 podcasts, 2 bonus podcasts, and a vlog, but I'm not sure, like, there's like, okay, this is where I'm getting to. There's like personal stuff, like secret information, not really secret. Yeah, there's like stories that I could tell on there that I wouldn't want to tell publicly, if that makes sense. Not like public, like on my public. I would want them to be like for my patrons only. Like if you, like, I want to do more like juicy stuff over there, and then keep all the normal, you know, PG-13 content over here. It's gonna be like X-rated on my Patreon, my storytelling. That's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't know, like. Or I'll just do another podcast about like just like this, but Corey will be with me. I don't know if he'll always be with me, but he likes it. Like he likes podcasting with me. So I think we'll tag team it together for a while. And then the vlog's going to be like raw footage of our lives, and we're traveling a lot. So probably mostly travel vlogs. And I almost want to, I don't know. I'm thinking of doing, like cliche, like OG YouTuber type videos where you do like, what's in my closet, or like try on hauls. Like I could do try on hauls. I could do clothing, like shopping vlogs, or like girly things, makeup videos, makeup tutorials. Like I might just make a bunch of videos and post them there, but it's just all the bonus content that doesn't go on, my Spotify or Apple or wherever you listen, or my Instagram or anything. So it's $5 a month. It's a way to support me, support the podcast, and you actually, I was joking, I was like, this time you're actually gonna get something for your money, because I wasn't, for the longest time it was like my tip jar. My Patreon was like, hey, thanks for listening, if you enjoy this episode, you want to like give me a little tip at the end for entertaining you, it's $5 a month. So now you're getting something, and yeah, I'm stoked. It's fun. I don't know how to end an episode. I never end it. I'm just like mentally trying to like prepare for the next part of my day. Like, what do I do next? You know? Probably should eat something. See me yawning. Okay, it's time to go. Love you. Thank you for being here. Please hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening right now. I'm on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Google Podcast, Stitcher, Breaker, wherever you listen to podcasts. Please subscribe and leave me a review. If you enjoy this episode, please leave a 5-star review on the Spotify app or the Apple Podcast app. And follow me on Instagram at Jacqueline Monroe and TikTok at Jacqueline Monroe. That's it. Love you. Thanks for being here, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.
I got a lot of shit to say, so I'ma do this every day. I'll be writing things until I'm fucking buried in my grave. 6 feet deep under, but my body won't decay. Cause my messages are timeless, so they'll put them on display. Oh yeah, I rap with the